海的一个印象都是商业城市，大家都是生活在高楼大厦的都市丽人。
My God, is it really this hard to run a real business now? I walked through the Aegean Shopping Park in Minhang, Shanghai, and what I saw shocked me. Rows and rows of shuttered shops. Some never even opened properly before going dark. It's chilling. Sisters in Fengxian, how would you describe 2025 in 4 words? I'll start. Deep water burning fire. Can you believe this? This is central Shanghai, right next to Ruijin Hospital. An entire row of empty storefronts. The market feels lifeless. Even the so-called magic city has lost its sparkle. Last weekend, I went to IFC Mall, and I couldn't believe my eyes. On a Saturday afternoon, the first floor was nearly empty. The once famous Hermès line, gone. At the cosmetics counters, only staff were left standing. My favorite little French bistro near the Apple Store, closed. A prime location, now silent and wasted. Only the Apple Store still seems to have a pulse. You wouldn't believe what Shanghai looks like today. At its peak, over 30 million people lived here. But the city feels hollow now. Countless stores have gone under, and even the metro, once jam-packed, now has empty seats. Hotspots like Global Harbor and Nanjing Road are eerily quiet. Offices are half empty. I don't know why, but it feels like people are vanishing. Except for KFC, almost every storefront has changed hands. The noodle shop I used to love is gone, just disappeared. This is still Shanghai, the most prosperous city in China. Imagine what second-tier cities must look like now. Dahongqiao, North Bund, Qiantan, Shanghai's 3 new business zones. Dahongqiao is now a ghost district. Around 80% of its office towers stand vacant. Parks are deserted. The one remaining mall barely sees any foot traffic, and most of the street shops have closed. The underground food court, half empty. Even the Western dining area once packed at lunch and dinner, gone silent. North Bund is faring slightly better, but compared to the other new zones, it's all in decline. When that massive mall opened, it was impossible to find a seat. Now it's deserted, empty shop fronts everywhere, and outside looks even worse. The food court is dead, untouched, as if frozen in time, with estimated losses of over 10 million yuan. Even the small mall near Taikoo Li Qiantan is collapsing, nearly vacant, while surrounding street stores can't find tenants at all. Shanghai, the city once portrayed as a land of skyscrapers and glamorous success, that dream is fading fast. Before I came, I thought Shanghai was full of opportunities, connections, and high salaries. But in reality, wages are shockingly low. I checked job listings. Most offer just 3,000 to 4,000 yuan a month. Finding a job here is brutally hard. Before coming, I thought this city was paved with gold, that earning over 10,000 yuan would be easy. But living here shattered that illusion. Half my job applications go unread. Others demand years of experience for barely livable pay. Most openings are in low-end sales or customer service. Even the local vegetable market tells the story. 10 stalls, no buyers. Every year it gets worse. Vendors who once earned a few hundred yuan a day can't even cover rent now. People's fridges are full, yet no one buys anything. This life feels unsustainable. The market is dead, the streets are empty, and no one even notices each other anymore. Business is collapsing. I've lived in Shanghai for 6 years, but this year feels different. The city feels hollow. Even the ramen shop next door says their traffic is down by half. Where have the people gone? Back home? Or have they just given up? I don't know what's happening anymore. The storefront rental market has completely collapsed. It's not just about price. Even when rent is slashed to the floor, nobody inquires. A shop could be listed at any price, and still not a single person comes to look. From once thriving commercial streets now turned into ghost rows, you can already imagine how bad the economic situation truly is. The silence outside those empty glass doors tells a story that numbers can't. For landlords, the nightmare is even deeper. A store that once rented for over 20,000 yuan a month now sits cold and dark, unable to find a single tenant. Yet the property management fees, 1,500, 1,600 Ruijin each month, keep coming like a ticking clock. The shop that once brought pride now feels like a curse. In this age of whoever gets harvested can't escape, every owner is trapped in the same invisible net. Just how bad is the rental market? In Yangpu, a serviced apartment near Xinhua Hospital has been empty for over a year. Its rent fell from 6,800 to 3,900, nearly cut in half. And still, not a soul has come to see it. The place is fully furnished, spotless, with top-tier appliances. But even that can't attract a tenant. Shanghai, once the dream city, has become a symbol of quiet decay. Once hailed as the economic engine of the party state and China's international face, Shanghai is now rotting from the inside. After waves of foreign capital withdrawal, the economy has sunk into depression. Businesses are dying, streets are deserted, malls are empty, and unemployment shadows every district. The magic city, once glowing with promise, is fading into gray. More and more people are feeling the squeeze. "It's unfair," says Ms. Ma, a Shanghai resident. Her voice trembles, but it speaks for millions. It feels like a step back in time, a sharp regression, almost like we've returned to the 1990s. Ordinary people watch their income drop, their jobs disappear. Stores can't survive, markets are lifeless, and even financial firms are collapsing. Some bosses simply vanish overnight with investors' money. The once bustling crowds, the rush hour noise, the flashing signs, they all feel like distant memories now. Today there are malls that tourists avoid like forbidden zones. You walk in and you find over 200 shops sealed shut. Notices on the doors, some stamped 2024, some 2025, marking the death dates of businesses that once had dreams. What used to be the Seoul night market is gone too. The mall inside is eerier than the streets outside, brightly lit, perfectly clean, yet lifeless. It's not completely empty, but the emptiness you feel is overwhelming. For me, it's the bleakest sight I've seen in years. Even along Shanxi South Road, where rents used to soar, business has frozen. A huge Starbucks has closed its doors, and the shop next to it, gone too. Whole streets like Fengxian Road are nearly deserted. Brands that once had 10 branches now barely have one left. On Changli Road, shutters are down, windows are dark, and the air feels heavy. This district, once full of energy, is now sinking into silence. Consumer confidence is collapsing. Vacant shops are everywhere. The future of Shanghai's property market looks suffocating. And I'm not exaggerating. After the National Day holiday, I asked around about new home sales in central districts. The result? Terrifying. A new development beside Ruijin Commercial Park in Yangpu sold only one unit. Yes, one single apartment during the entire holiday week. It's unbelievable. Even within the inner ring in central Shuhui, no one is buying. Developers now rely on middlemen just to move units. It's embarrassing to watch. Prices are being slashed again and again. I've worked in the housing market for years, and I've never seen this kind of panic selling. The whole environment feels poisoned. Confidence is gone. "I was born here," says an 80-year-old Shanghai resident, "but this city, it doesn't feel like a good place anymore." And the social atmosphere? It's getting worse too. People used to live well after reform, hopeful, ambitious, but now everything feels dim and uncertain. Take Xintiandi, for example. 5 or 6 years ago, its trendiest building was packed with young people, laughter, and light. Today, it's silent. The ground floor and 2 basement levels are nearly empty, stores shuttered, windows dark. You walk inside and hear only your own footsteps echoing. Is Shanghai really this empty? Once, it only looked like this during the Lunar New Year. Now it's like this every day. The streets are eerily quiet. Just a few cars, no people. Shanghai, once bursting with life and traffic, now feels like an abandoned city. You look around and see no one. The malls are empty, shops deserted, escalators moving with no passengers. Those once busy shopping streets, now so silent that footsteps echo. Many shops can't even attract 10 customers a day. What on earth is happening? Look at these once great Shanghai streets. This is the reality now. A local resident says many industries are collapsing and money has become almost impossible to earn. When people stop making money, consumption dies. One by one, shops close down, forming long chains of shuttered storefronts. Even the core commercial districts, once the pride of Shanghai, are now seeing their spending power evaporate. The saddest thing is walking down a street that used to be packed with people and seeing not a single soul. Every shop stands silent, lights off, the doors sealed shut. If you pay attention, you'll notice that 80–90% of the few people left are just wandering, window shopping, not buying. Even Shanghai's train stations, which used to overflow during rush hours, are half empty. With China's economy rapidly deteriorating, the authorities seem helpless. Instead of solving the crisis, they double down on propaganda, painting a bright picture and silencing any talk of despair. State media keeps repeating the same line: China's economy will remain strong in the long run. But outside, reality tells a completely different story. I have some shocking news for you. Beijing's housing market is spiraling out of control. In the past, prices in South Beijing hit 25,000 yuan per square meter, and buyers cried in despair. Today, with just 22,000 yuan per square meter, you can already grab a place. Home buyers in Beijing have been wiped out. No one escaped. Years ago, the peak around the 4th Ring Road soared above 100,000 yuan per square meter. But now, ready-to-move-in apartments in the Asian Games Village are going for only 26,000 yuan per square meter. Move-in included, no restrictions. Sell your house now. Don't say I didn't warn you. 2025 is the last window to cash out. Homeowners, stop hesitating. If you can sell, sell. Cut the cord fast. If you miss this year, you'll be trapped for good. Recently, I've seen Beijing housing prices collapsing everywhere. In my own community, last year it was 75,000 yuan per square meter. This year, only 60,000. Is this the bottom? On Douyin, some say prices will keep crashing, while others claim we've already returned to 2016 levels. In Chaoyang, a top property once priced at over 3 million yuan now sells for just 960,000 in full payment, only 24,000 per square meter. In Shangdi, prices are in free fall, with a flood of desperate owners rushing to sell. Many are cashing out overnight and fleeing. Why? By mid-September, Beijing's transaction data hit a historic low. July was already terrible. August only rebounded slightly thanks to weak policies. Without fresh support, developers will cut harder and second-hand sellers will slash deeper. Some are so desperate they're breaking down. Everyone thought prime Beijing homes could only rise forever. Now massive losses are everywhere. Homes once priced at 4.57 million are being slashed brutally. 2 years ago, buyers hesitated when prices were just above 3 million. They've already missed their chance. Today, some units are down to 2.8 million from nearly 4.8 million, cut in half overnight. Owners still deny it, but reality is brutal. Not long ago, many wouldn't sell for 3.9 or 4 million. Now they're forced to accept 2.8 million. It's a bloodbath, an investment disaster. Even near the prized 2nd Ring Road, prices have collapsed, with Beijing's second-hand housing decline ranking first in the nation. Online, countless people are asking, what's happening to Beijing's market? What's happening to China's first-tier cities? On September 5th, I went with a colleague to negotiate a property in Tongzhou. What I saw shocked me. That house was bought in 2017 for 3.58 million yuan. The asking price now, 1.75 million, a 51% crash. We didn't close the deal, but I left stunned. Beijing's once untouchable housing market has now been dragged to the bottom, humiliated like a failed student. This is reality. Many friends around me are dumping their second-hand homes, convinced prices will crash further. The signal of collapse can no longer be hidden. In recent months, even state-owned companies are racing to dump properties. At the Beijing Equity Exchange, Tianheng Real Estate and others have listed 111 units for sale. In just 3 months, Beijing's second-hand market has been gutted. Remember, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. China's entire real estate empire is collapsing, and Beijing is leading the crash. The National Bureau of Statistics confirmed in August, home prices in 70 major cities, including Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen kept falling, with Beijing's plunge the steepest nationwide. Analysts say building a so-called luxury apartment in Beijing costs as little as 2,000 yuan per square meter, sometimes just a few hundred. But prices were sky high, pushed onto buyers through 30 to 50-year mortgages that chain people's futures to banks. Now the bubble has burst. Housing loans are so cheap, banks are almost paying borrowers to take them. If you own more than one property, sell fast. This is the age of liquidation and unfinished projects. Those new buyers you see? Mostly fake, staged to trick you into thinking there's demand. Don't fall for the trap. Anyone telling you to buy now is leading you into disaster. Who could have imagined prices collapsing this far? Just across the Beijing border, homes once selling for over 20,000 yuan per square meter are now only 4,000. Just 1 hour by bus to Guomao, and they're all fully finished, ready to move in units. A house costs only 120,000 yen, with central heating, full decoration, and property certificates in hand. We drove from Beijing in just over an hour to check one out for an elderly couple. I never thought I'd see a home for only 120,000 yuan. This community once sold for over 10,000 yuan per square meter, then fell to 8,000, 9,000, and now entire apartments go for just 110,000, 120,000. It's a massive complex with over 10,000 households, many from Beijing. The truth is, most Beijing residents enjoyed the golden years of the property boom. From 2000 to 2015, early buyers rarely lost money. At worst, they broke even. Since the commercialization of real estate in the 2000s, those buyers were the big winners. Let me give you perspective. Around 2000, apartments near Chang'an Avenue cost only 8,000 yuan per square meter. Do you know how much now? 145,000 yen, and in some projects, nearly 200,000. Back then, a home cost barely 100,000 yuan. Today, the same unit sells for over 10 million, even 12 million yuan. For example, in 2010, we bought property in Chongping for just over 10,000 yuan per square meter. Now, new apartments hit 60,000 yuan, and even second-hand ones still cost 20,000, 30,000. It feels like the sky has fallen. Villas once priced at 4 to 5 million can now be taken away for 700,000, 800,000 raos, and they're still on the Beijing subway line, only 3 stops from the third ring and line 10. Will housing prices in China drop 60%? Absolutely. Just today, shocking news. Buy one, get one free in Beijing. What does it mean? Buy a 70 square meter unit in Tongzhou, and they throw in a 102 square meter sea view apartment in Yantai for free. Buy 70, get 100. Could this be the domino effect that topples housing nationwide? I don't know, but developers are already in crisis. Decades of real estate drained families, banks, and governments into endless debt. It's not just Evergrande. Vanke, the crown jewel of Chinese real estate, is also in trouble. Look at how Shenzhen had to bail it out. This shows how deep the collapse goes. So do you still think prices won't crash 60%? Ordinary people simply can't afford homes anymore. Even renting in Beijing is collapsing. Apartments can't even find tenants. A friend of mine went abroad and asked me to rent his 60 square meter, 2-bedroom unit near the West Third Ring. Just a few years ago, rent was 8,500 yuan. This year I listed it for 3 months, no takers. We kept cutting the rent down to 7,000, the lowest in the whole community. Still no one came to see it. I told my friend, I'm shocked. Is the market really this bad? That same apartment was once worth over 7 million yuan. Don't mention it. I regret not selling. Now it feels like I've lost 2 to 3 million for nothing. Even at 4.6 million, it won't sell. The only way is to list at a price that guarantees a sale in 10 days. So how much would buyers pay? My advice, 4.35 million. But my friend said no. At 4.35, he'd rather keep it. Living in it is fine, he said. Maybe in a few years, the rental market will bounce back. But at this price, he just can't accept it. I'm being real. I'm filming this apartment to help him sell. But if he won't accept my suggested price, I won't even post the listing. That's the truth. Don't panic. If you're too anxious, you'll never sell. This is the brutal reality of Beijing's housing market today. I'm in this every day, so I know the truth. Today marks a turning point. If even Beijing's real estate is collapsing, what hope is left for the rest of China? My mom's tiny apartment inside the third ring dropped from 5.1 million yuan to just 4 million. My own home in Dongcheng fell from 140,000 per square meter to barely 100,000. In Guigu Bay, prices crashed from 52,000 to 36,000 per square meter. Nationwide, secondhand housing has fallen for over 50 months. Three-bedroom homes in Beijing once sold for 6.6 million. Now they're 3.2 million, a 50% collapse. Even luxury apartments like Polypark in Wangjing plunged 35%, while many communities beyond the fifth ring have been cut in half. The market is drowning. Apartments drop to cabbage prices, yet no buyers appear. Families tied to 30-year mortgages have become slaves to their bird cages. Wealth built over 50 years is evaporating, leaving only debt and despair. China has 600 million housing units, yet countless people still can't afford one. And even free homes don't tempt buyers. The burden of mortgages, property fees, and utilities is crushing. The dream is over. The nightmare has begun. And here's the bitter truth. Cutting interest rates won't work, scrapping down payments won't work, and giving homes away won't work. The property bubble has burst and the collapse is spreading. What was once the foundation of China's wealth is now its heaviest chain. The so-called golden age of housing is gone forever, and what remains is fear, silence, and the sound of an entire nation watching its dream crumble. People online are crying out, "I spent half my life savings, Rob, and now my home is worth less than the loan I still owe." Others admit they dare not check current prices, afraid to see how much value has disappeared overnight. Real estate once symbolized stability, pride, and security, but now it has become a graveyard of dreams. The question on everyone's lips: how many more families must sink before China admits the truth?